DC KO Superman versus Captain Atom issue 1, Joshua Williamson writing with Sean Isaacs on the art. So this is the first of these fight month books. These you know, there's like 8 of them because there's 16 competitors all having one-on-one fights. Some of them are one shots, some of them are in books that are ongoing. For example, the Lex one with was it Etrigan? I think he's fighting.
Yes,
that's in Superman. So look forward to that.
So here's just a list because it's on the first page. As an ad, you got round 2, which is Aquaman versus Hawkman in Aquaman 12. And then round 3 is Wonder Woman versus Lobo, which is in its own issue. Round 4 is Cyborg versus Swamp Thing in Titans 30. Round 5 is Harley versus Zatanna, which is its own thing. The Flash 28 is Jay Garrick versus Guy Gardner. Round 7 is Superman 33 with Lex versus the Demon. And round 8 is Red Hood versus Joker, which is its own thing as well. So I think it's pretty well spread out. There's four tie-in issues and then 4 standalones, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. And this very much is a Captain Atom focused issue, and that it's his narration for the most of it. But ultimately, other than a little bit of backstory, which I think they intentionally did that because, like, yeah, everyone knows Superman. Not everyone knows who Captain Atom is, so we're going to explain who he is. But once it sets it up, it's basically just a best 2 out of 3 fight, just like a video game, to the point where they even do like a comically big KO page for the end of each round, which I could almost hear the announcer voice saying KO as I read those pages. Otherwise, though, it's just kind of okay, I guess. It's fighting, and that's all it is.
And it's more of the is Superman the right person to do this because he's not willing to go far enough because he's the Boy Scout. That is the theme that is ongoing through KO, and there's more of that here with Captain Atom, you know, being like, I was in the military, I have all this power, I should have this over Superman because Superman's just gonna put things back the way they were. He's not going to make it better, which I thought was a interesting thing coming from Adam as well as it was coming from Lex.
Yeah,
right?
Although it is kind of weird that he said basically the exact same thing as Lex did last week. I thought that was a bit I don't want to say lazy, but just like, it's exactly the same phrasing.
I wish Williamson had done it a different way, right? Because I get what he's coming from, right? Because the version of Lex of that is a cutthroat type guy that wants to win, and with Captain Atom, I would have thought like more of a military strategy type vibe to that sentence would have been a little bit better instead of the same exact thing that Lex said.
Yeah, I also think that Captain Atom, it's I don't know, he feels a bit thin here. It feels like we're just making him the villain of the issue as opposed to try to like make it feel like, oh, he's got a good like point. You know?
Yeah.
And I think by having him phrase that the exact same way Lex did, I'm like, yeah, he just sounds like the villain, because that's literally what the villain said last time.
Well, and then they do the whole Monarch side of things, right? Because in the fight, after, you know, you win a round, you can take a different form. And there's some really meta things going on here.
Matt, you don't have to win. Like both of them pick a form after each round ends.
Oh, that's right. It's not the winner, right? Yeah. So they both pick a new form, and he picks Monarch, which is from this old story where Captain Atom goes bad, and we get Superman as Superman from the 853rd century. He's been living in the sun and whatnot. And I was like, well, there was something they could have done cool here, where like he embraces the Monarch persona, right? And that's what he does, you know, throughout the rest of the issue. And he really does this whole thing where I have to become the bad guy to win. And they don't even really touch on that. It's kind of just a very bland Superman versus Captain Atom, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like we get much of an arc here where Superman decides, oh yeah, okay, I have to accept that I need to kill this guy. It just kind of feels like he does it very easily, and whereas it's really more just about like, oh, how does he do it? Because Captain Atom's so, you know, indestructible because of what his power set is and how his body's made up now. So basically the play out of this issue is that Captain Atom wins round 1. Round 1 takes place above Metropolis. Not really Metropolis, it's kind of just like the Heart of Apocalypse has made a Metropolis looking sort of like video game level. In fact, honestly, it's actually kind of shocking to me how much this felt like a video game, especially when they were choosing their new forms and it was like a character select kind of thing. Oh, here's all the versions of Superman I can pick. All right, here we go.
Yeah. What was the DC fighting game? That was the Mortal Kombat.
Injustice.
It was Injustice. Duh. Yeah, this is like Injustice.
Yeah.
You know?
Although, except for the fact that Captain Atom is not high ranking enough to be in Injustice. He was not in any of those games, I'm pretty sure.
No. An Injustice Superman would whoop the absolute shit out of Captain Atom. Like,
he'd pulverize him.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and they do go out of the way. Williamson goes out of the way to be like, oh, to have Superman say that Metropolis, it feels like Metropolis, but it's missing something, right? Like there's the people aren't there, so it gives them a creative license to throw each other through a building, right? Like, so they don't have to worry about bystanders and whatnot.
Yeah, but it also just kind of adds to the fact that it's all a bit fluffy and nothing really matters that much. Because I mean, I think that's the thing about this is that I'm like, I feel like in the next issue of KO, like the next proper issue of KO, we're just going to get like one panel recaps of each of these 8 fights and just showing you, oh, Superman won this fight. Here's one punch to Captain Atom, so on and so on. And I feel like that'll be all the story we needed from them, because I don't know if this really gave me that much, because all this stuff with Superman, like having to lose himself and like give up who he is and be willing to kill in this tournament, knowing full well that if he wins, he can bring everyone back. You know, that's what we've been doing anyway. I don't think this necessarily added anything new to that, right? And if anything, it just made Captain Atom so two-dimensional to just repeat those beats again. That I don't know if I felt like... I'm sure bigger plot advancements with Superman's character arc are going to happen in KO3 versus this. And,
yes, absolutely.
You know, so it is what it is. Like, so just to sort of do some highlights here. First thing Captain Atom does pretty much is he turns one of his hands into kryptonite and the other hand into like red sun. Whatever. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. That makes sense. Honestly, my favorite thing about the whole issue is the KO pages. Like, see those, because I could hear the video game announcer yelling KO. It was the most that I got out of it vibe-wise.
I think Isaacs is really good at action too. So when we do get the fight, you know, that leads to the KO. There is proper tension and build up, you know. And then the reset, I feel there's enough, you know, like good use of splash pages, right, to kind of reset before you get back into the fighting and stuff. And then when we get to a certain point in the fight where it almost starts to feel meta, it's a lot of these disconnected panels of like Captain Atom's history and Superman going through them and whatever. So it definitely feels like they're fighting through this, like not fighting through time, but in a place that's in between space, you know, which I thought was a cool aspect here.
Yeah, I mean, it does this thing where it's like Superman sort of fighting him into his own past, and then it's like they're fighting through comic book panels, like in a literal sense, and it's fine. I don't know. It all just feels a little bit. Oh, go crazy, Isaacs. Do whatever you feel like to represent this. I've got to say, Superman Prime from the 853rd century looks like shit. I'm just going to say that right up front.
Well, I just think that. Yeah, just a big gold Superman, you know, like it's there's nothing interesting at all.
No. So also that second round, Superman wins by freezing the sun so that then Captain Atom freezes. Yeah,
he stops it. Basically takes him to absolute zero. You know, there's so no atoms can move, therefore he loses his powers. Yeah. Also, the final Superman form kind of stinks as well, because it's just a silver. It looks like a Superman statue come to life with a red cape and red S shield.
Well, no, that's not what it looks like. I'll tell you exactly what it looks like. It looks like Captain Atom with a Superman cape.
True.
That's the point.
It does.
He just becomes Captain Atom to win the fight, and then he does, and you can just sort of do that out of nowhere, and it's like. There you go, that's it. And even the ending, which is the little like epilogue, which is just kind of like, here's an extra couple of panels of when we found out Booster Gold was being actually Darkseid, and he throws Time Trapper through a window. Like, you know, it basically just goes like a couple of seconds past what we saw in KO issue 2. And part of me was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to read, say, Titans to get the Cyborg fight. And I'm okay with that. And when I got to this last couple of pages, I thought, oh no, they're going to put like important little bits of this at the end. But then I actually read it and went, oh no, there was nothing of value here. It didn't add anything to what we already got from KO issue 2.
Yeah. I think it's going to depend on the character matchups, right? So like the Harley Zatanna one, definitely. You know, I definitely want to check that out.
Well, I think we're pretty almost definitely going to check out all the one shots just because they're one shots. They're easy to dip into.
But like the Aquaman one, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, Aquaman and Titans are the ones that I don't think we'll bother with. But
but yeah. And there's a bit here where Superman feels like the heart of Apocalypse corrupted Captain Atom, and that's why Captain Atom is talking like Lex. And there's a bit of a struggle where Superman's like, "Oh, is it trying to corrupt me as well?" So that was thrown in there. That was something a little bit new.
That's convenient, just so that Captain Atom can just be villainous the entire time, when it would actually be more of an interesting fight if he was still good as they were fighting. But and that's, I guess, the other worry about this all fight month is I'm like, how repetitive are these going to feel? I mean, I know obviously the other characters won't be like throwing each other into buildings per se, because they might not be as powerful as that, but how much of it's going to be the wrestling with what to do? One of them might be corrupted to make them the villain of the issue, kind of thing. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Which I'm looking at the matchups, and Harley versus Zatanna, I think there's a pretty clear way to do that one. But the only other one I feel like is Flash, because that's Guy Gardner versus Jay Garrick. So I'm wondering how they're going to play with that one. Well, because the obvious thing would be make it Guy, right?
Yeah, Guy has to be because the Flash book. So I feel like it's just going to be more inclined to say Jay's the hero of the two. Doesn't mean he will win necessarily. They might give you a downer ending where Guy wins, but
yeah. A lot of these possibilities, but I'm feeling like we're going to go the safe picks on a lot of that. Whatever you think is the pairing.
Yeah, I feel like
it's going to play out.
Almost 100% Lex is going to win, right? Let's just say that right now. Joker versus Red Hood. Joker's winning.
He's already done it once. He's just had to beat him 2 more times.
How many crowbars is Joker going to hit him with? That's the question I have.
How many is he allowed to have? That's the question.
Oh, infinite. They're just going to fight in a giant pit of crowbars.
And yeah, the other ones like the Wonder Woman versus Lobo, and then who's Cyborg fighting in Titans?
Swamp Thing.
Yeah, that one's curious. I don't know if I'm enough to make me check it out, but if I hear good things, maybe I'll go back. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed by this just because where KO2 left me with what this could be, and then I was like, oh no, I got bamboozled again. And these are just tie-ins,
Yeah, which is kind of always what I thought they were going to be. The only thing that maybe gave me a moment of doubt is that when we did issue 2 and we realized, all these matches will have happened before issue 3, so maybe they matter a bit more than we think. But then I had the thought of like, well, I bet it just kind of works in one page in KO3 where here's one panel of this fight, Superman won. Here's one panel of this fight, this character won, and that's all you need to tell you who won all the one-on-one matchups. Now. Maybe we'll get some surprises here. Maybe there'll be a couple of these that stand out as being particularly good because of the way the fight progresses or with how they play it off. But my worry is that they're going to feel quite repetitive, regardless of the power sets of the characters. But I mean, we'll see how they play out. But I'm getting flashbacks to Nightmares in every issue, feeling like it was doing the same thing. So we'll see. Not that doesn't make me less into KO. The main story, though. Like, I'm still excited for issue 3 of KO, but
Again, these are a necessary part of any big event. You always get the tie-in issues that always feel like I hate to say filler, but I don't know another term that's good to use. But they just feel like we're going to capitalize on having an event going on.
They're trying to.
I feel like
they're exploiting the completionist side of comic book collectors who are like, I have to have every tie-in to this event because I'm invested in it, regardless of how bad half of them are. And
I like to say I'm not going to do this anymore, but we all know I'm a fool. So
I agree.
That said, outside of the one shots, I don't think I'll be picking up. And I'm talking physically.
Sure, but I mean, we've been doing Superman and Flash anyway, and I think the one shots we'll probably check out. So I feel like we'll have read most of them.
Anyways.
Yeah, we'll have read most of them by the time they're done. There'll just be a couple of them we haven't. All right, what are you rating Superman versus Captain Atom?
I'm gonna give this a 7.
It's a bit high for disappointed, but I'll go 5.5.
Okay.
It's got a couple of fun actiony bits, which gets it over the middle line. Isaac's art's not bad by any stretch, so I think that's what gets it there. But it's event tie-in fluff. It doesn't really feel that important. It doesn't make any new points that needed to be, like, you know, like Superman is like, yes, I had to give myself up to defeat Captain Atom, but I'm like, yeah, but you've already like made that point in issue 2 of KO, and even issue 1 to an extent. So it feels that we're just kind of stalling until the next real issue of KO.